So I'm someone who juggles multiple Macs for work, for on the go, and for home. I basically need all three for my full-time marketing job, for writing up scripts, and for editing these YouTube videos. Even though each of these are for different purposes, I actually set them up all the same way with the same settings and apps to really maximize my productivity, and they've kind of become essentials over the last few years. Almost every app I have installed here is free, or at least a free version, so if you've got a new Mac or a desktop Mac, you've definitely come to the right place, and I hope this is helpful. Now let's go over some of the system tweaks and third-party tools I install right away on every new Mac. First, I always have the dock hidden. Having the dock hidden gives me so much more extra screen real estate, especially when I'm working on a smaller display like a 13 or 14 inch MacBook. I've done this for such a long time that it feels weird seeing a static dock on either macOS or Windows. But with the dock hidden, I did need a way to see my notification badges on my essential apps, so that's why I have the Doll app installed. Doll is a free third-party menu bar app, and it shows me notification badges for the apps I choose up at the top menu bar, so I can still see my pending notifications without needing to switch apps or unhide the dock constantly. Since I use external monitors for both my MacBooks and my Mac Mini, I use a third-party monitor control app to adjust brightness levels on the external monitor. For some reason, macOS is finicky and weird about brightness adjustment on certain external monitors that don't meet some specs, so monitor control is a must-have fix for me. It's also totally free, and I can use the same keyboard shortcuts I use on the MacBook display to control my external screen's brightness, which is nice and seamless. Now, if you got a new Mac, you're planning on using it for years, and maintenance is going to be super important so that things stay good as they are right now. That's why I also recommend the Clean My Mac app by MacPaul, who's also sponsoring this portion of the video. Clean My Mac is really nice, especially for people like me who use both new and older MacBooks, where I want to keep getting good performance for years and years. It's actually well designed, well integrated, and it gives you enough control to customize what it's doing without making you dig through layers of system folders. So the easiest way to get started is with Smart Care, which takes care of performance, security, and storage all in one go, which is super convenient. Each module within Smart Care can also be launched separately, including Space Lens, which gives you a really intuitive interactive map of your storage, exposing hidden storage hoggers and showing you what files are taking up the most storage. There's also the menu bar that gives you real-time updates about your battery, CPU, and is super accessible right in the menu bar, which is awesome. So yeah, if you're looking to really clean up and maintain your Mac in a simple way, definitely go check out Clean My Mac using my link below to get a 10% discount and to try it out yourself. Next, let's talk keyboard shortcuts. I use Spotlight a lot to search for files and easily launch apps, but I recently replaced Spotlight with a third-party app called Raycast, which I mapped to the same command spacebar shortcut. Raycast basically works the same way as Spotlight, but it's a lot more powerful and customizable. Raycast has a built-in calculator, so I can do some quick calculations without opening the calculator app or Googling it. I also use the Google Search and Google Translate extensions to do quick searches or get instant translations without having to typing it into Google search bar or my browser bar. These are small but frequent actions I do all the time, so having them just a shortcut away is super helpful. One of my favorite things about Raycast is that since I have OneDrive installed on my Mac with all the cloud files in my Finder, including the on-demand files, Raycast can easily search and find those too, which the stock version of Spotlight has a harder time doing. I know there are people who go all in with Raycast extensions to build advanced workflows, but I keep it pretty light while adding a ton of value on top of what I was already doing with Spotlight. There is a paid version of Raycast, but honestly the free version covers everything I need. The UI is also super smooth and almost just as fast as Spotlight that I don't think I'm ever switching back. Then next to Raycast for the option spacebar shortcut, I have that mapped to the ChatGPT Mac app. It's so accessible having it here, and I also use it really often. Raycast does have a built-in ChatGPT plugin, but I do prefer the full ChatGPT UI since I mostly use ChatGPT for more complex prompts. I typically don't use ChatGPT for searches. I actually use it to help draft or brainstorm ideas for my full-time job, as well as for my YouTube scripts like this one. I've finally trained mine a bunch to match my tone and structure, so it saves me a lot of time, especially when I have writer's block. Since I mostly use ChatGPT for text generation, I do keep to the free version as of right now. By far, my top two apps for macOS are all about multitasking. Alt-Tab is one of those must-have free apps that I immediately install on any new Mac. If you've used Windows before, this makes the Mac multitasking experience feel more familiar. It lets you visually switch between individual windows, not just between different apps, and for someone like me who juggles multiple browser windows, that makes a huge difference. It saves me a ton of time getting previews when switching back and forth between similar apps or browser windows. This is especially helpful when I'm sharing my screen in meetings and need to quickly hop between different browser windows, documents, and slides. Then there's Rectangle, which I use for window snapping and is also totally free. I absolutely love how quick and snappy it is, no animations, just instant snapping. I customize mine to just snap left, right, full screen, and restore with the Option plus arrow keys, and I love that I can do all this without touching the mouse since Alt-Tab and Rectangle go hand in hand for this workflow. I almost always have two apps side by side when I'm working, so this setup makes multitasking a lot more efficient on my Macs. I actually still prefer rectangle over the native snapping on macOS and even over Windows because the flexibility and speed are just better. Then for my calendar app, I'm pretty simple. I just use Google Calendar, specifically the web version installed as a PWA. I know there are tons of great third-party calendar apps out there, but Google Calendar works best for me personally. I have multiple calendars synced to one account, so it gives me a good consolidated look at my personal, work, and YouTube stuff all in one place. Since everyone sends Google Calendar invites to me anyway, changes sync instantly and it just makes sense. Another key reason I keep to Google Calendar is that Google Task is directly integrated into it. For my personal task manager and for YouTube work, I use Google Tasks. It's free, super simple, and again integrates nicely with Google Calendar. Even though it is really a simplified to-do app, I like how I can add subtasks, set due dates, and check things off right from Google Calendar. It's also available across all my devices, which means I can quickly add to-do items even when I'm outside. I've tried more advanced alternatives, but I kept coming back to Google Tasks because of how seamlessly it works with my existing calendar setup. But for my corporate job, I use the free version of Asana. It's a bit more structured and more featured than Google Tasks and great for tracking everything I need to do across my work week. I use Asana to jot down new to-do items, project details, deadlines, and categorize everything I do. It's not as customizable as Notion, but it's pre-built really conveniently and doesn't require me to build a workflow from scratch. I like that I can go back and look at my task history to see exactly what I worked on during a specific day or week, which is really helpful during performance reviews. Overall, Asana helps a lot with my workflow at work, especially as I note down every single task I do and it's satisfying to check off everything I complete. Another app I use at work on a daily basis is OneNote for note-taking. It's free, it syncs to all my devices, and the Mac version is actually really solid. I have a notebook set up just for my corporate job, and I make a new page for every new workday. I title each page with a date and use it to jot down meeting notes and reminders. Having a daily log with a structured note-taking tool like OneNote makes it easy to reference past meetings, and I can search for keywords if I need to dig something up. The search function isn't great and especially not good for searching up phrases, but it does a job for searching up keywords. I know some people prefer other apps, but I like the structure and text formatting options that OneNote gives me. Outside of my full-time job, when working on my YouTube videos for this channel, I use a free version of DaVinci Resolve to edit my videos. I've been tempted to try Resolve Studio for the AI features, but honestly the free version handles my entire 4K workflow just fine. It's great for cutting, stabilization, basic color correction, and exports. It performs really well on macOS too. I used to use Premiere Pro, but DaVinci's performance is just much better on my Macs, and yeah, there's no good free version of Premiere, so DaVinci is just better right now. For editing thumbnails, I use the free version of Canva. I actually used to be a Photoshop user, but like with Premiere, I didn't want to pay a subscription anymore, and the free version of Canva was more than enough for what I needed for now. It's got everything I need from text layers, image alignment, presets, and basic color corrections. Since Canva is a web app and everything is web-based, it syncs up across different browsers and devices really seamlessly, which I'm a big fan of. So yeah, those are all the apps and settings I use on every Mac I own. Whether I'm writing, editing, attending meetings, or just managing life, these apps make my workflow way smoother. And like I said earlier, almost all of these are either free or at least usable in the free tier, so you don't have to spend anything to seriously upgrade your productivity. I hope some of these are helpful for you too for your Mac or MacBook. If you have any good productivity Mac apps that you recommend, definitely let me know in the comments since I'm always on the lookout too. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel for more tech videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.